got it. And we're live. And I have a surprise.
We're live again today?
Yes, we are live again today,
You
Paul.
talked me into this?
Me? Well, I don't mind
I've
it.
only got so many words in my throat.
Is that so?
Jeez, Monday, Christmas. And here you are expecting a second podcast. I don't even know how to spell it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so what you wanted to do was recover Holocaust.
Yeah. And you wanted to explain how, and just how, Adolf Hitler took over.
I'm not going to probably be able to do this very correctly. I'll do this based on what I think.
Before you start, I have something to reveal.
We'll reveal it.
Well, I'll wait until later. Continue.
So I've got to continue with this secret that you won't tell me.
Not yet.
Well, by George. Oh, you're not by George. Well, by Atriel. Okay, well, what was going on at that time was that the Germans had lost the First World War and were kind of embarrassed by it and rebuilt their military under Hitler. And they just, he decided he wanted to own all of Europe. And with the United States not backing either side, which meant there were spies in the country from England and France and who all else knows, and there were spies in the States from the Germans. I don't know how many, couldn't tell you. And he knew that his biggest enemy were the communists in Russia. Now, doesn't that parlay something that we thought in the 50s?
Yeah.
He was a terrible, terrible man. Terrible. I couldn't say that enough times for what he did to my people. But he did that to the gypsies. He killed a lot of Catholics. He had no compunction about killing. He is a madman.
He killed anybody that was different.
But he had some things that were on the right track, because it became Russia that we had to contend with. We were never going to war with Russia. But let's get back to the Holocaust. So he wanted to exterminate the Jews, which he had written, he was partly Jewish, that he had written about in his book Mein Kampf, which is one of my most prized possessions. I've read the book, but I'm going to tell you I don't remember enough of it to be accurate on everything I'm going to say. I'm going to have to do it from memory. He decided that he wanted to exterminate certain peoples, certain kinds of peoples, certain religious peoples. He got rid of his close enemies in the military and established his own people. There were secret killings all over the place. His soldiers were some of the meanest people ever created on this planet, led by a man that was obviously very, very sick, while at the same time being very astute. So he had some kind of autism, which we didn't know about at the time. He had some dementia, which we didn't know about at the time. He could have had Alzheimer's, which we didn't know about at the time, because he made very clear decisions. And he made, in the case of annihilating people, very dumb decisions. He built, I don't know how many gas chambered camps. I've only been to one of them. I chose to go to Germany in the 70s, and I went 2 years in a row. It's a very beautiful country made up of very nice people. I didn't have any problem. They didn't know I was Jewish. I don't know whether they would have had animosity toward me, because I didn't need to bring up anything other than I was visiting from the United States. So what you're looking for in the Holocaust is he used it to get rid of people that he didn't want around. He didn't want to deal with them. He didn't want to. What are you covering your face for?
You'll find out.
He wanted to get rid of the possessions of these people, wanted to burn books. He wanted to destroy businesses of certain minorities. He stole paintings from everybody that they could steal anything from. They were a nasty bunch of people. They needed to be annihilated. Instead, we built back their countries. So our forgiveness, in my opinion, was too short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
Way too short-lived. I find that evil can't be allowed to continue to walk among us, which we do every day, which is a big problem in the United States from the judicial standpoint, because there's a lot of these judges who just letting these murderers back out on the street. I have it every day in my Apple News, and I don't even have Apple News. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Oh, God. Apple
News.
News
they want me to subscribe to it, and I have no interest in that.
I think I'm getting Apple News is
a just flip phone.
You're getting
and
a flip
I might
phone?
Not be able to do a lot more. I'll do.
As many podcasts.
What are we doing here?
A podcast.
A podcast.
Yeah,
I'll do more podcasts. I love doing this. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to spend time with my grandson. Hopefully, one or two of the things I say are the truth, because I don't profess to know the truth.
Yeah.
I just profess to know that I've read something about it from somebody else's perspective. And I can't really read their mind. But they built the camps. They went and took the people that they wanted, put them on trains. There was no food. It was hot. There was no water. Treated them very well. And, had any of my generation of great-grandfather been unfortunate enough to be there, you and I would have never met. They would have been killed in some concentration camp. There were not a lot of survivors.
But you were in America, so it was easier.
They were luckily enough in America already. Luckily. Your great-grandfather came in through Philadelphia. He had a quarter in his pocket and a cousin that he knew in Indiana.
Wow.
So he had to make it to Indiana. I don't know how he did that with a quarter. I don't know what a quarter could buy. Couldn't buy very much.
Somebody had asked what had consisted in these concentration camps.
Well, they had cots probably, and bunk beds probably, and every morning they had a work crew that would go out and build whatever they wanted, because they were basically slaves. They were captured. They were slaves. They were incarcerated. Whatever you want to call it, and they had to do what they were told,
or they die.
They shot a lot of people and put a lot of other ones into the ovens. And I'll teach you something about Judaism now. Jews don't believe in cremation. Been anything that you as a Jew are supposed to consider. A layman here in Brunswick gave me the other side of the story, because he and I were talking one day, and his retort to me on his father, who had died recently, and his mother, who had died a little before that, they had been buried, and I had just, I think, lazily said, well, what are you going to do? And he said he was going to be cremated. And I said, I didn't know we could cremate. He said, yeah, we can cremate, and even if we don't want to cremate, I'm going to cremate, as a lot of other Jews have done, because it puts them in touch with the 6 million Jews that were burned in their ovens in Germany. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Someone said, what is cremation?
Cremation is where they take your body and burn it.
Oh.
And it becomes ashes. It becomes ashes.
That's what cremation is.
Now, I didn't want to get all hung up on just talking about the Jewish people.
Well, yeah.
There were tens of hundreds and thousands of people who were butchered, who were enslaved, who were beaten to death, who were captured and used a lot for medical experiments, nasty medical experiments. You know, the Israelis were able to track down Adolf Eichmann in Argentina, and there were others that they were able to track down. And, you know, I can't remember which country or what, I think it was Canada, that just let former Nazi company commander, I think, like a captain, go free. And I don't know why, but anti-Semitism, which has something to do with the Holocaust, is very rampant. Okay? And if you think that I'm saying this based on I just want to talk about Jewish persecution, that's not right. The Christian community is being attacked every day. Let's see, you can't wish them a Merry Christmas. We really would rather you not wish a good day to anybody. Let's see. I'm not coming up with anything right this second. But you can't have an American flag or something. I really can't remember the story. Excuse me. So there is a lot of anti-Semitism which more directs itself toward Catholics or Jews or blacks or Mexicans or Japanese or Chinese. It's very hard for me to feel like I should hate anybody. I do not think we are born with the hate button. It's striking that I don't know of anybody that was born with a hate button, but turned out to be hateful, purely contributing people. One of our get-togethers should be about. See, it just went. I can't think of it.
Hate.
Let's see. Should go about contributing to society. You remember that? Okay, we'll do one on contributing to society. So the Holocaust. Holocaust went on for I don't know 10 years, let's say 9 years, 8 years, 7 years, 38 to 45 or something like that. 36 to 45. I can't tell you that I remember the dates. I know that we dropped atom bombs on Japan in 45.
I remember that.
They were into their own kind of Holocaust. You know, they killed a lot of their own people.
Yeah.
You know, that's what tyranny does. That's what tyranny does. So the Holocaust continued and continued and continued. And on the day that the Germans were surrendering, they were still running trains to the concentration camps and still burning people alive. You see? So it didn't cease until the American troops found the people, mostly Jews, who had miraculously survived all of this torture, all of this not being fed, all of this not having a place to sleep, all of this slavery stuff where you had to go pick up 50-pound rocks. Ain't nobody can pick up a 50-pound rock except somebody that's trained like a maniac. And they didn't do that in those days. They didn't do that in those days. There were no treadmills that I know of. Maybe I missed something. I've missed a lot, so maybe I missed
There weren't probably not treadmills in those days, but there definitely were treadmills in the 1980s and 1990s.
Which has nothing to do with the Holocaust.
But that's the earliest that treadmills were invented.
But the Holocaust, not to the large degree that it was done in Germany in the 30s or the Japanese in the 30s and 40s. There are people that assassinate people right on the streets of London, right on the streets of Washington. They have a poisoned end of their umbrella, and they walk by somebody and just do it like that, and boom, he drops dead, and the guy keeps walking. He doesn't drop dead. It may take a little while, but he's out of the picture. He's gone. There's all kinds of Holocaust-type events still taking place. And if you want an aside to this, I'll give it to you. You want an aside to this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The United States became really very, 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 that's 5 of them, vulnerable when they did away with the draft. I didn't want to go in the service, not down deep, not really, but it was my country. It was getting to serve my country. If your country don't mean anything to you, why are you still here? I mean, why is Rosie O'Donnell still here? Why is Barbara Streisand still here? Oh, she happens to be Jewish. I don't think you're supposed to pick on your own people. How about Joy Behar? She's Jewish too. See, I'm making more mistakes by the second. By the second. I don't know why these people are still here. So that's what you've got. You've got the haters that, in essence, make people of their own ilk want to get rid of them. Joy Behar doesn't need to be living in this society. She needs to go somewhere. She doesn't need to be allowed to have a, well, neither does a preacher for that matter. Okay? So if a preacher can have a pulpit, then Joy Behar can have a pulpit. But Joy Behar calls this preacher a right-wing, red radical, right-wing Ku Klux Klan member, you see. And if you dared to call her something, she would say you're discriminating against her. We have a two-sided coin. Well, every coin that we use in everyday life has got two sides.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, there are two sides. No possible way that you could agree with me on every little thing that we might talk about. Okay, there's no way. When humans are not made that way. Humans are not made that way. They're just not. So the Holocaust is continuing.
Yeah.
It's continuing in other ways, but it's continuing all over the world. Now, how much interest is there in eradicating it? Well, we can put a bomb down a chimney, but we can't talk to each other. Heavens forbid. But we can drop a bomb down a chimney and get rid of people, most of whom in that house would be innocent of anything. It's like when the birth of my first grandchild took place. She was born with a heart defect. They kept operating on her. They, kept operating on her. And at 2.5 years old, she passed away during heart surgery. Well, it's hard, but it ain't hard for me to tell you that that's when the supposedly ghostly big guy, what's his name?
God.
Oh, now there is something. I should forgive somebody that allows. What about the woman here in Brunswick that gave birth to a beautiful baby boy in March and he died in July? Let's say that's 4 months. April, May, June, July. 4 months old. What is the purpose of bringing someone out of their mother's womb to absolutely destroy this man and woman 4 months later? What kind of entity does that? I mean, that's just sick. So I have big trouble with all this organized religion. That is, these things that we just said are the reason that church attendance is so negative. Now, we're living up to what we've been telling people for 5 or 6 weeks, are we not? We don't even know what we're going to talk about when we know what we're going to talk about.
Well, we've got more of a schedule now. More of a schedule.
I hate schedules. Do you know about Jewish time, Atriel? You want to try to explain what Jewish time means?
Well, to me, it's not having, when you're supposed to be somewhere at 3:30, and you don't get there until 3:37,
Okay.
or let's say 3:40 because you're
Okay.
held up at a red light in traffic,
Okay.
and I think that's what it is to me.
Jewish time is 20 minutes late. So if you get there at 3:37, you're 13 minutes early.
No.
You didn't know that?
Well, I was close.
Now, you don't want to get that early to a party, do you?
I don't know.
Well, you'll have to think about that the next time. And that's just a little joke there. So anyway, where were we?
You were talking about the hate. I believe the hate that's going around and how we're headed towards that again.
Well, mankind repeats history better than they can do anything else, just about. And you got all these haters in this country, and they're going to have to be dealt with. And they're either going to have to be fed by every person that makes any money in this country, and that money is going to be confiscated by the federal government because they hadn't got any money because they're only what $33 trillion in debt. Is that what they are up to now?
Most likely, yeah.
I can't remember, but that's what I think. And
sounds pretty close.
So it's just not a good situation. Now, there was something that we talked about that we were going to talk about in the last podcast.
In the last podcast,
we were going to remind each other. It's something to do with something.
It was something to do with, I think, a place or something.
It was conversation, wasn't it?
Well, no, that's next week, and you're not a part of next week's podcast. That's part of next week's podcast.
You're firing me?
No, I'm not firing you. I'm just
well, if I'm not doing it next week, what am I supposed to do? You're firing me.
I'm not firing you. I am just having another.
What are you going to make me colder?
No, I'm just.
You have to do one or the other. You have to either make me colder.
I'm having another guest on.
Is he as cute as me?
Probably. Whoever it is.
So you're not even going to tell me who it is?
No.
Well, I'm not going to tune in then.
Well, that's fine. But you'll be possibly.
What will I be?
You'll possibly be back the next week.
Possibly?
I'm not firing you, though. I'm not firing you.
Well,
but
you do what you got to do, and then I'll do what I got to do.
Yeah.
So let's get back on track here a little bit. Let's talk about let's talk about something that needs to be cleaned up, and everything that needs to be cleaned up in this country. This greatest experiment that's ever been allowed by mankind to take part in. The people themselves are going to have to clean this up. I know what we were going to talk about. Contributors.
Yes.
Okay. Now you have people who try every day of their working career to get out of paying for taxes. That's normal.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
Everybody.
Everybody that gets checks tries to figure out.
I always pay my taxes.
I didn't say that. I didn't say these people didn't pay their taxes. I said instead of getting a $200 bill, they're trying to cut it to $100. If they can do it, they can do it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So they are contributors because they have physically, emotionally, and working given the government money that they have worked for. The government, has the government worked for it? Hell, I don't know how you answer that question. The government has employees, and the government's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Papa.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what's the Holocaust?
The Holocaust was a period of time in the history of this world where the German country of Germany tried to extinguish the Jews and the Gypsies and the Catholic population of Germany. They interned them into killing camps that had ovens where human beings were just put in there alive, or they were put in there dead and burned. I believe they were put in after they were killed, and they were burned, and it became known as the Holocaust. And as I've just explained, I think there are Holocausts still going on today. And we should know better, but humans don't know better. So, okay, anybody else got a question?
Or any more questions?
Well, we'll just pause here and see if anybody else has got a question. I hope I was able to answer the question for you. Okay, then we'll go back to contributors, because this is a huge subject that nobody that I know of has even discussed. Okay? Contributors are people that do things. They contribute
Anything.
to the success of a birthday party. Little thing, but they contribute. They don't take, they contribute. You've got too many people in this country now who have decided it's just very easy to take. And I believe, and I hope, I don't just believe, I hope that the public is getting tired of it. This is the most generous country in the history of the world. There's nobody that can out volunteer, give their money to other people. Like, there's GoFundMe funds. I don't know what a GoFundMe is.
I do.
But I guarantee you, if I put a GoFundMe up, which I think has something to do with people sending you money,
Yeah.
I could say to them, in fact, I'm going to say this. My right big toe has been killing me all day over my left eyebrow. I do not know where the pain originated. I don't know how it's going, except it must be going up my right leg, through my right shoulder, through my neck bones, and out to the front of where my left eyelid is, over the, what do you call this, the eyebrow?
That's the eyebrow.
That's the eyebrow? Okay, over the eyebrow. I don't know how these things happen, but I need some help.
Oh,
That's
somebody
something
has
to
another
help.
question.
Okay.
Let's see. They just said they have another question, so we'll wait.
Okay. It's howdy doody time. It's howdy doody time. It's howdy doody time. Would you like for me to do the Porky Pig?
Yeah, we were planning on doing that for weeks now.
Let's see. It's something about. It's
It's
gonna be a without you. It's gonna be a without you. You gotta love my singing voice. And that's the only words I know, but those words are hysterical. Anytime I hear that song, I have to pull my car off.
I know, you almost crashed the car.
We almost crashed the car. Because that is such a
True
wonderful song.
Oh my God. Elvis Presley had to be rolling over when that happened.
Oh, I think Elvis Presley enjoyed that song as much as you and I do.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that had to have gotten him rolling over.
You have to. You have to understand the talent that it takes to go. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's
You
hard.
can't just do that. You can't just do that. Oh my God. Well, anyway, we're waiting for this question.
Yes, we.
It looks like I'm gonna have my next birthday
Oh gosh.
before I get this question.
You know, Papa, it's not as easy to type. Not everybody can type as fast as me.
Well, it certainly isn't when you got Parkinson's. I'll give you that.
Not everybody can type as fast as me. These fingers were made for typing, and that's just what I'll do.
Let's talk about
one of these days. These fingers are gonna type all over you.
With the schools, really? I was going to mention to you this afternoon, but with my feebleness in my cranial part of my body, they don't do typing anymore in schools, do they?
No, they do.
They do typing? I'm astounded.
Possibly. In middle school, they do typing. And at least when I was in middle school.
And then they don't do home ec, which even boys like me wanted to get into.
Well, because there are so many girls in that. But they don't do that.
Well, see, if they don't let me in that class, I'm going to go to a judge and tell him they're discriminating against me because I'm a man. I want to go into this girl. There are boys getting into, illegally getting into women's dressing rooms. I don't want to get into the dressing room. I want to get into the home ec class.
I feel like that's the only reason a guy would do cheerleading is...
Well, maybe he's lost interest.
I don't know.
We're going to keep going.
We can keep going until a question surfaces.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
But what were you saying?
I was saying about contributing.
Contributing. Yeah. That's right.
People that contribute need to be heard. They don't need to be shunted off. But it seems like the mainstream media, which in my mind needs a mass grave, and the reason I'm doing it and being so ugly about it is it's time for someone to identify what is going on that's hurting the normal liberal and the normal conservative. The conservatives write things that may or may not be true about the liberals, and the liberals, the mainstream media, who are almost all liberal, attack the conservatives for sitting on a commode seat wrong. So it's kind of funny that we've got a two-visioned press, and they actually think that they run the country. That's the scary thing.
The question's here.
Well, let's have him. Hey, did I do that as good as Tom Selleck? Let's have him.
Yeah, not in your wildest dreams.
Well, I have wild dreams every night, and I might have to agree with you up to this point that I haven't had a dream about that. Maybe tonight will be the night.
I doubt it. Anyways, his question was, people made fake GoFundMes and they had no injuries and they used that money to buy a car or go on vacation. That's so messed up.
People make fake GoFundMes. Oh, I agree with that entirely. I don't know who invented the GoFundMes. There's been a lot of them that have done some good, but you're absolutely right. I don't. If they called me on the phone, I'd hang up.
Well, I don't know.
If they sent me a letter, I'd throw it in the trash can. I don't know. You know, it's kind of like giving money to an organization. The preservation of the wheelbarrow. So you give $25 for the preservation of the wheelbarrow. You don't know whether the wheelbarrow is going to get repaired by the $25 you gave them, or whether it's going to go into the CEO's pocket. or the CFO's pocket. You don't know whose pocket it's going in. You have to be very careful when you start to do things with charities. You have to check out how much the CEO of any of these nonprofits are taking in salary. Let me just say this to whoever's listening. I don't live on this planet for money. Money is something made to spend. So that's what I do. But I don't owe anybody any money, and I have a rainy day fund. So if I want to buy something, I can buy something. So the question becomes, how do I want to give my money away? Well, let's say I had $1 million and I don't have any kids. I'm just, it's my wife and myself. One of us is going to die first. Okay. Well, how are we going to spend? Would we go buy new cars? Oh, because other people do it. I'm not other people. I'm me. You got to start getting disciplined with your money. I understand from reading some, articles in papers, different papers, that you young people from 18 to 35 are not buying as many houses, which is the smartest thing you could do. You don't need a house. They're not building as many houses as they are apartments. That should tells me something. That's why I live in an apartment. So in the scheme of things, Nugget 123, I didn't get to read the end of his thing.
Oh no, that was the only question thus far.
I know, but I didn't read it all.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Let's see. Yep, we pretty well covered that. I mean, you don't know who you're giving your money to. And like I said, if you want to go give money to the Brotherhood of Wheelchairs, you got to check out
the legitimate.
You got to check out what the CEO is making, not anything else. If that CEO is drawing $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, he can't spend all that money and then he'll go ask the board for a 4% increase. Well, that's another $200,000. So the next year he's making $4,200,000. The year after that he gets a 3%. So now he's making, another $1.5 million. I mean, how much money is enough for people? I just need to pay my bills, which I don't have any bills except my electric bill and my phone bill. And if I have a dentist thing that I have put on Clear Credit, which gives me 6 months to pay most bills that I would have, and you just have to figure out how to pay them off in 6 months, and then you don't have that debt. You just got to learn how to get out of debt. And if I haven't said this before publicly, you need to go take the Dave Ramsey course. I have said that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm doing it again. Commercial number 2 for the Dave Ramsey course. I have taken the Dave Ramsey course with my wife. And that's how we are able to do what we do and live on Social Security. We don't have a job except for a small store that we own.
There's another question.
Okay. How did the Holocaust end? It ended when the Allied forces, British, American, Australian, Canadian,
Israeli.
I think there was some French, but I don't know that. I don't remember that. They ended the war. Germany surrendered.
They had
supposedly
no choice.
Hitler killed himself.
Supposedly.
I'm using supposedly because I don't know whether he did that or not. There's no way in the world I would ever know that.
Was it the last place he was in jail? Rightfully so.
And the
how did
American soldiers, the Canadian soldiers, the Australians, the who you know, the British came upon these camps and finally figured out what the people who had been able to get out of Germany during, they also had camps in Poland. They took advantage of the fact that they had annexed Poland. I'm not sure whether there were any in Austria. I don't really think there were. I may be wrong. And it won't be the first time. So the Holocaust was ended when the United States and its allies found these camps, and they were absolutely, I bet they've never seen anything worse than that in their life. Most of these World War II gentlemen and men and women, as my father, are not with us now. And to tell you the truth, they're the last great generation that live on this planet, because I'm going to pick on whoever I need to pick on. Okay, I'm 78 years old. I know there's a bunch of bad people out there. I'd like to be part of a team that go kill some of these damn people. It's just like a murderer murdering people in a town here in the United States. If the police could just catch them and shoot them, it'd save the taxpayers a lot of money. I mean, I don't have any problem with the innocent until proven guilty. But if you just had a guy with a rifle run out the back door of a house where there are 3 bodies, a husband, a wife, and a child, and they let this guy come to court and spend taxpayers' money. There are more lawsuits, I bet, in this country than there are people living in it. And every one of you, are paying for it. You don't know that. You don't know that because you've never been told that. But that's the case. Where do you think they get the money? They have to get it from the taxpayer. The courthouse is communally owned by the county or the state. Somebody had to build the state courthouse, and that was the state. Somebody had to build a local courthouse in the local community. That was paid for by the local people. They find all ways to take money from the taxpayer. And I'm not trying to overthrow this government. We need a government, for God's sakes. I don't want to be the government. There's no way I would want to be the government. I want to be left alone to read my books, to do my crossword puzzles, to occasionally take a trip somewhere, to take my wife to dinner occasionally, to drive around South Georgia and enjoy the beauty of South Georgia and its wonderful, friendly people. I don't need money. I don't need money. I ain't buying a diamond ring. I don't need a diamond ring. I don't need a Cadillac. And then you've got all these people. See, we hadn't done anything on athletics yet. Okay.
Yet, but
and I'm not going to get started on it. I'm just going to tell you, I'm an athlete, and I've just signed a $13 million 2-year contract. That's $6.5 million a year. Now, how do I spend $13 million? You have any idea? I go buy 2 $500,000 cars. I buy a 19-room house that I can't live in but one room. I'd be scared to death to live in a 19-room house. Somebody could break in from anywhere in that house, and they'd be after my money. That's what they would be after. So why come after a guy like me? I got $7. I can't help you. So, how much money do you need? And I'm going to keep pounding on that about the charities, because there are charities that need your help. The Parkinson's need help. People like me that have Parkinson's, we need donations. The St. Jude Hospital, the Shriners Hospital, the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, the J.A. Anderson Clinic, regional religious facilities built to help take care of Christian and Jewish kids, Hispanic kids who have no father and mother. They're not people that came in across the border. They are people who, they may be, some of them may be, I better take that back. But they have husbands and wives who unfortunately have died and have left this 6-year-old and 8-year-old parentless. You have to take care of people who don't need taking care of, that need taking care of, rather. But we're taking care of people who sit on corners, who have these big signs that say, I need money, I need food. Okay? Well, if you gave them, I've told you this in the other, are you doing that because you don't want me to say this?
No, go ahead.
I told you in the first podcast that you've got to give the money straight to the person. If you want to give to a wounded warrior, go to Walmart. You'll find dozens of women and men pushing a legless, a footless, an armless veteran of the armed services. And you give the $50 to them because they're not going to buy cigarettes and beer. They're going to buy black-eyed peas, green beans, some pizzas, and they're going to make use of the $50 that you're giving these people. And it's actually better than mailing a check to a, armed forces. I'm gathering money for veterans. I'm gathering money because I don't know whether the money ever gets to the veterans or not. This way, I know. I'm just sharing stuff with you that makes sense to me. To me. I'm not speaking for my grandson. I'm not speaking for anybody but me. I'm clear in what I've told you. And like I told you, in this day and time, when you kind of talk like this, a goon squad may come get you.
Yeah.
A goon squad may come get you. Maybe there's too much truth in there. They don't want it out. I don't know. I've lived 78 years. It's not long enough, but I've lived 78 years. And the reason I say that is, if the goon squad comes in here, they're going to have to shoot me. They're going to have to shoot me. And they're going to have to shoot me without a gun in my possession. Because I believe that you have to work to solve things with the mouth that you were given, talking face to face with the person that feels like that you have said something that he doesn't agree with, and he has said something that I don't agree with. So we need, because the company needs to make a decision. And if you can't talk to each other, you can't make a decision. So the company is going to go wherever it's going to go. Bankrupt, going to fall in the lake. It's going to do something. So there's all kinds of ways to tie something in to something else. And that's where I lose myself sometimes, because I can't remember what subject I'm talking about because I shifted to another one. And sometimes I can. But these are the things that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And there's a whole fist pot more. And instead of looking at all of this as negative, why is this guy being negative? Because it's an opportunity for us to undivide and, be unwilling to work with each other and quit all this division that's going on. I'm smarter than you. Well, I know you're smarter than me, but I may be smarter than you at something. And I guarantee you that we'll find out what that is, because you can't do 100 things better than me. I can't do 2 things better than you, but the 2 things I can do better than you need me to do. So I need to be working with you. You need to be working with me. We've got to get back to sense of humor, laughter, and the willingness to work with each other to make our environment. And I'm not an EPA dude. Forget that. Forget all that. I'm talking about the environment of living in a neighborhood. I'm talking about the environment of going to a PTA meeting. I'm talking about the environment of having a business meeting at your business with the owners, with the workers. Walmart can't open a store without workers. I've said this in one of the podcasts already. It is. That's just the way it is. How's our time?
Well, we're closing in on about 4 more minutes.
I'm sorry I got so rattled up, but I'm not sorry at all. It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
We're at a time where human beings have got to figure out how to correct and make better what humans have caused.
Yeah, before it's too late.
Well, that's a Eagles song.
Before it's too late.
I don't know which one it's from right off the bat, but it's from one of them. Before it's too late. I think it's. Could it be Take It Easy?
Possibly. Could be.
Somebody will give us the answer. Just wait. Somebody will give us the answer. So anyway, I hope I haven't bored you in any way, shape, or form. And if I have bored you, that's what I've done. And whatever, I'll take it.
But this has been the part 2 of our Holocaust podcast. Holocaust and Papa SuperHart. And purely
y'all are keeping me up. I'm sorry.
Oh God. Well, we've been on here for about an hour. You want to push it to an hour?
Yeah. What do you kind of want to talk about?
Well, we did have a question last podcast that I had missed. And that question, it was last podcast. The question was, what are people going to do now that businesses are going out of business so frequently?
Not saying a word. We're going to do this next week. The week after. You're going to have to sit with bated breath for 2 weeks. I hope you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you will be able to, because I know who the guest is next week.
Okay.
And I'm going to be sitting there salivating.
Well.
So we have really enjoyed doing these 2 podcasts today.
Yeah.
So that, it would be like since I'm not going to be around next week. So far, he hadn't fired me. So,
fire him.
That's the deal.
I'm not going to fire you.
I think that what we should do is.
Well, hold on. Hold that thought.
I don't know how to hold a thought. Let me see. Does that hold a thought? There's not anything up there.
Not literally.
I don't have a thought. There's nothing up there.
Oh, Lord.
Why you ask me to do things I can't do?
Oh, God. I don't know.
You asked me to do. I have no thought up here.
Well, just hold it. Just hold the thought. Just
I'm holding my thought right here. Don't you see I'm holding it?
Yes, I see you're holding your thought, Papa. Well,
You told me to hold my thought.
well,
2 times you asked me to do that.
don't hold your thought literally. Anyway,
We'll catch you on the rebound.
on the rebound whenever he's back. I don't know. He has a tight schedule. He has stuff to do, and I have stuff to do. But all I have to say is, good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.
Okay. Let's see how we